Welcome back to the Spiritual Ride. I'm your host, Alyssa LeBlanc, and this week we're doing something a little bit differently. If you're watching this on the video, you can see I'm at the beach, which is one of my favorite places. So this week we're talking about quantum leaping and a reason why you might not have quantum leapt into your next version of reality. Now, I'm at the beach because the beach is actually a place that helps me quantum leap, and it wasn't until a couple of seconds ago when I sat down that I realized when I made my major quantum leap about 2 years ago, when I quantum leapt in love, money, home, I was doing a lot of limiting release work at the beach. And I was also speaking what I wanted into existence at the beach, which is so magical because water is a portal. And to make it even more coincidental and weird, even though there are no coincidences, I was just making a video about moon water and speaking intentions into water. And here we are by the water. So that was another lesson to myself and another lesson to you about quantum leaping. You can release stuff in the water and you can speak what you want to into the water. So maybe this video is going to be about quantum leaping in a different way. I had an idea in my mind, but spirit is pushing me in another direction. So when I made my big quantum leap 2 years ago, I spent a lot of time at the beach. And this is because I love the beach and I knew that I wanted to move near the beach. Now, I lived in Los Angeles, so there are beaches around, but I was in the valley, so it was a good 40 minutes, unless there's traffic to get to there. But I made a point of putting myself in the environment of where I wanted to live. I would go run on the beach because I imagined that if I lived near the beach, that's how my life would be. Now I run on the beach a couple times a week. I was just in the energy of what I wanted to be around. I also found that when I was doing limiting belief work, I was speaking what I was no longer serving me into the water or writing things on paper and releasing it energetically into the water. Around that time, I took a money course. And now that I think about it, I totally quantum leapt in money following that course. I remember FaceTiming my best friend and telling her that I was manifesting moving to the beach. And then about 3 months later, I moved to an even better beach than the one I was manifesting because the universe always has a higher plan for you. But what I realized was it's about not waiting. So quantum leaping is really about not waiting. Actually, this does tie back to what the original intention of the video was. You haven't quantum leapt yet because you're not yet the person you need to be. You are not yet acting as that person. You're not yet having those thoughts. You haven't yet released the things that are in the way of you quantum leaping. When you are becoming the next version of self, it's going to be uncomfortable. And a lot of spiritual talk is about, stay in the vibe, be happy. Yes, that's all good. Follow what lights you up. That is all extremely good. But the next version of you that has quantum leapt to a different reality is going to have a different comfort zone than you currently have. So things that you might be afraid of to take action at, confirmation. Things that you're afraid to take action at, doing, places you're afraid to go, ways in which you are afraid to show up, that quantum leap version of you is not afraid of those things. So in order to connect with that version of self, you need to start acting like that person already. You need to be in spaces that person would go to. You need to start dressing like that person. You need to change your thoughts to have the thoughts that version of you would have. Okay, something weird is actually happening. I've been having deja vu all day, and this always happens to me right before I quantum leap. Like with just the most random things. That's a sign that you're quantum leaping, because I believe that the reason you want to quantum leap to that reality is because there's a version of you that's already living in that parallel timeline. So when you start taking the actions and acting as if that person, you're going to start to feel deja vu because a different version of you has already made those choices and you're just connecting with it on a higher timeline level. So the version of you that has the life you want is showing up differently. And that is what might be why you are not yet that person, because you are still showing up as your old self. You need to show up as the version of you that has what you want before you can stay in the physical reality. And I had this really wild experience the other day. I was hiking with a friend of mine who's a hypnotherapist, and we always go hiking and talk about what limits we're breaking out of, what are the next things we're manifesting, what we're afraid of, what's holding us back. And I believe that movement is really a great way to quantum leap too, because when you take limiting belief work and actually literally move it for your body, you're moving out that old energy. Much like how water is a portal moving stuff through your body is like an energy portal of getting it out of you. And so we were talking, and I was sharing with her the next level of life that I'm up leveling to. And all of a sudden, I literally dropped into a parallel universe that she was also in, where I was that next version of myself, and the problems that I'm worried about, like this version of me was like worried about other things and other things that were good. I don't know that I was necessarily, I guess she wasn't, I dropped into a portal where that version of me was not even concerned with these problems that I had now, because they had already figured out a way out of that into that. They had already figured out the solutions, like the things that version of me was concerned about or manifesting in another level or thinking about was like way beyond the things that I'm thinking about now. Like the things that I was concerned about aren't even a big deal for her, because they don't even matter, because she's already up leveled to a new version. And I think that when we're quantum leaping, we talk about going to different frequencies and different levels. It's really just a higher vibration. Like it's really like changing the channel on a radio station. You're on one station and you want to evolve to a different station. But I had this literal drop-in feeling that I was hiking with her, and I could feel that parallel timeline version of myself. And I immediately knew what she was doing, how she was acting, what choices she was making, what she was saying no to, what she was saying yes to. And then I dropped out of it in a couple seconds, and I told my friend, and it was wild. And I tell this story because that has helped me the last couple of weeks when I'm stepping into this next level of myself. When I'm getting scared or not wanting to step outside of my comfort zone or worried about what people are thinking, I like connect with that version of myself, and I know that she does exist on another timeline, and suddenly it's not an issue. I'm like, oh, she wouldn't even care about that. And so if I want to jump to that reality, I need to also not care about that. And I want to live that life. My comfort zone has to be expanded. So if you haven't yet quantum leapt to the level you want to leap to, and you are doing limiting belief work and you're looking at what your beliefs are, you can do that all day long. You can get stuck in the healing trap. And I was stuck in that trap for so long, where I just kept looking at what limiting belief. It's got to be a belief. It's got to be something's holding me back. And it's like, no, maybe what's holding you back is action. Maybe what's holding you back is standing in the energy of that next version of yourself. Because when you do, magic happens. And that's how I felt when I quantum leapt 2 years ago. I had decided what I wanted. I didn't know how I was going to get it. The move to the beach brought me so much more than just moving to the beach. I mean, it brought me so much magic, and I'm in the best version of my life this far. But my soul knew what it wanted, and it had to start acting like I had those things and start imagining myself being there. You don't have to know how you're going to get somewhere. You just need to do what you can to put yourself in that frequency and to imagine it in your mind. And another thing I did was I listened to this one song, and I kept imagining how my life was, because I think I mentioned in another video, when I quantum leapt 2 years ago, I was having dreams about the life I'm living now. And they didn't make any sense at the time. Like the home I'm living in from where I was living, the person I'm with from the relationship I was in, the friends I have, like, it didn't make any sense, and I didn't know why I was getting these weird dreams. But now I see that it was a higher version of myself calling me to jump to that reality, and now I'm in that reality. So I'm doing the same thing now. When you want to jump to a next version of yourself, you have to know that that version of you exists, and that lifetime exists. That timeline actually exists. So you have to start like connecting more with that frequency, because once it reaches a tipping point, you will jump to that reality. And another way that you jump to the reality is really connecting with your joy. I was on a Zoom call with some friends from a retreat today, and I was speaking about how being a generator, I trying to trust more. If you don't know, that's a type in human design that are meant to follow our joy and do what lights us up. And I've been feeling a lot of just like these societal limiting beliefs that when I do what's best for me, it's going to hurt other people, or that can't really be how life is, and life's not really that good. But as a kid, we knew that that was the way, that our joy was like a safe compass to follow. And it was just like being here at the beach right now. Like I decided I'm going to have a content day at the beach, and I already feel more connected with that version of myself that I'm trying to catch right now, that version of me that I'm jumping to her life, even though my life is amazing, there's a next level. And that's the same thing that I was doing 2 years ago. I knew that there was a version of me living the life I wanted, and I just had to catch up with her vibrationally. And that's all you need to do. You need to catch up with that version of yourself vibrationally. If there's something that you're desiring in your life, whether it be abundance, whether it be love, whether it be health, whether it be a new career, new friendship, a new place that you live, you are just trying to catch up vibrationally with that version of yourself. And you do that by thinking thoughts that they would think and by acting as them, by imagining what that life would be like so much that you like overload your conscious mind that it starts to feel real. Like it starts to feel more normal for you to be living in that reality than the reality you're living in. And then you'll start getting deja vus and things will happen. But part of that is about listening to your joy and following your joy, whether you're a generator in human design or not. What does your soul want? Your soul is constantly asking you to up level and get to the next level and experience different things in our life. And like our joys, what we're interested in is our soul telling us that. And stepping out of your comfort zone, you've got to break through that comfort zone if you want to quantum leap to that next version of you and be in places that feel good. I feel so good today. And today was so, not that people aren't normally nice to me at the grocery store, but I did some errands before I came here. And every single person, like, I just was like, I'm going to have a joyful day. And I decided that I was going to come to the beach and I was going to create content, which is like my favorite thing to do. And I meditated this morning and I went and got food from Whole Foods, which is like my favorite, the salad bar at Whole Foods. Oh, amazing. And everyone at Whole Foods was so nice to me. At the other store was so nice to me. This guy I talked to on the beach, everyone was just had so much joy, just strangers. And I realized it's because I'm radiating joy because I'm tuning into the frequency where I am doing what I want to do every day. And you can have that too. And nature. So yeah, if you're wanting to quantum leap to another reality, know that there is a version of you that is living it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to perceive of it. It is calling you towards it. I always use this reference the same way that we want to heal our inner child and we want to do inner child healing. We want to tell that younger version of ourselves that everything's okay, that, life is better now. Our higher up-leveled next version of self is doing the same to us. It's saying, hey, there's another level of love for you to experience. There's another level of abundance for you to experience. I am showing you that by making you not be able to stop thinking about it because I want you to join me on this timeline. So connect with that version of yourself and do the things that they would be doing. Start small if you have to. And imagine what it would feel like to live in that reality. And you will quantum jump. Much love.